we go back to the bar just to make sure everything is in order concerning our middle lines. Once again, I step in between, grab them, and at this point I have to tell you that the lines that we have just walked and connected, they are connected on the back side of the kite, as you can see. That's why we call them back lines.
Back lines.
Another name is steering lines, because every time you steer with a bar, these two lines give the order to the kite.
Okay.
The front lines,
Yeah.
I already told you, we call them front lines, because as you can see while going closer to the kite, they are connected on those two parts, and you can see clearly that this is called the bridle. You don't have to remember the name.
Okay.
It's located on the leading edge,
Yeah.
and the leading edge is the front side of the kite.
Okay.
So that's why these lines are called front. So just to refresh your memory, the greatest majority of kites has 4 lines, 2 in the back, which are the dangerous ones that you have to be careful of, and the front lines. The front lines can be tangled. There is no loss of control. But psychologically speaking, I always walk my lines twice just to make sure everything is super neat and tidy. There's no reason why you should go in with front lines that are tangled.
Double check.
Double check always. Excellent. The connection now is identical. This point here is your connection knot. Make it bigger. Pass it in your front line, squeeze again, check.
Done.
Exactly. We do the same. Amazing. And now we have set up the kite successfully, and even from a distance you can see that both the back lines and the front lines are super clear.
Yep.
So my dear Stelios, once again your progression is advancing. You now know how to set up and connect the lines, and theoretically and practically speaking, in your next lesson you should be able totally independently to grab the kite, inflate it, park it, secure it with sand, then grab the bar, take out the lines, do the downwind setup, walk the lines, make sure they are clear, connected. This is our basic kite setup. Any questions, my dear?
Very good.
Super.
So far, yeah.
One thing we have to talk about has to do with the way we connect ourselves to the bar. Once again, before I show you, I take the opportunity to do a nice pre-flight check by stretching the lines, making sure everything is okay. So let's say I was getting ready to go into the water. Okay, the first thing that you should always do is take your safety leash from your hook, let go of the bar completely.
Yeah.
We don't care about it now,
Okay.
because remember, your bar is the steering instrument.
Okay.
If accidentally something happens to the kite, someone trips over the kite and you pull,
Yeah.
you might get into trouble.
Okay.
So you just stay away from it until you actually
Ready to go.
ready to launch the kite and go into the water. So the first thing we do, adjust our safety leash on this plastic loop here, which we call chicken loop.
Chicken loop.
Okay, now the next step would be,
Why there are two?
because sometimes, especially when we switch and I give you the kite, there is a certain moment where both your leash and mine should be on.
Okay.
Okay, now if you are an independent rider and you have only one leash to worry about, theoretically you can put it on the top or the bottom, but I always prefer to have it on the top just to make sure everything is okay. Sometimes things like that can happen, so it can accidentally
Go off.
unclip. So safety leash on. Let's say that we are going to fly the kite and the kite is already ready. Chicken loop, and finally chicken finger. which is the safety.
Okay.
And the safety, my dear Stelios, goes between your chicken loop and the hook.
Okay.
If you don't put it, sooner or later the bar is gonna go away.
Good.
So chicken loop in after I have clicked my safety list. Finally, safety all the way in.
All right.
Okay, now theoretically speaking, let's say I'm in the water kiting, okay, and just to make it more practical, I would be like that. I would have my back against the wind. Okay, so please join me on my right. Let's make it a bit realistic. So I would actually try to do a little bit of steering with the kite, pilot the kite, right? But at any moment there would be a problem that would make me worry, make me afraid, or even see something dangerous coming on me, or even have the kite pulling a little bit too much. Our first safety system, which is always very, very important, is let go of the bar. Exactly. And this is also an international kiteboarding sign. Every time, my dear Stelios, you see me doing this, that means you let go of the bar, and the moment you do it, the kite stops getting any orders from the bar. So it collapses slowly, either to the left or to the right, and you lose a very big amount of the kite power.
Got it.
Unfortunately, there are more dangerous kinds of scenarios. So if we were making a flight simulation and there was another rider who crashed his kite on our kite, immediately the lines would be in a mess.
Yeah.
Maybe our kite would start pulling because the other kite is pulling it.
Yeah.
So you are going at this moment to have to use your safety system number 2, which is called quick release. This quick release is a core quick release system, and it is not pull away but rotational. You rotate either to the left or to the right.
Yeah.
Okay, this opens, as you can see, and you are left connected with your safety list on a line which is called safety line.
Okay.
The moment you apply this quick release action, what happens is the kite stays in the water. If it is flying, it will collapse and turns around and parks itself exactly like it is now, losing 100% of its power. And at the same time, you will see the safety line being pulled like that, the bar moving away and the kite losing more and more power. So you would find yourself at one point connected like that with the kite, zero power. Once again, there are cases where we might have a very serious situation, like a life-threatening situation, where, for example, something has hit you, another kite maybe, and you need to definitely get rid of your equipment. So after you quick release, safety system number 2, you total.
Okay. How I do that?
You just pull away.
Pull away this?
Yes,
Ah.
like that.
Okay.
Okay, and as you remember when we first met, my dear Stelios, I told you I'm going to show you in detail. Now you will have the opportunity to see it again, but I think you are super smart and you know exactly how to put it back. Slide it away, put the pin in, amazing. That's it. You can see, Stelios, that in kite surfing most safety systems are pretty simple but functional, they work. Okay, now it is also very important, like knowing how to put your safety list back in, to really know how to put your chicken loop back in. The principle is more or less the same. You can see there is a metal pin here. Okay, you just let it drop out of the chicken loop, pass the thread in the metal pin,
Okay.
bend it, and then simply move left or right.
Okay.
Check, it's ready to work again.
Okay.
Okay.
May I try?
Of course, I will let you try as many times as you like, but first of all, my dear Stelios, since we pulled the bar a bit, once again, let's grab the opportunity to do a nice pre-flight check. I will fix the chicken loop back in exactly the same way it was, and I would like you to tell me if our pre-flight check is okay.
No,
Why do you say that, Stelios?
the red is from the opposite side.
And you can obviously see there is a problem with the lines being
Crossed.
exactly. So this is what we call twist and untwist the lines. It might happen in the water if you crash the kite, for example. That's why you always have to check, and if necessary, untwist,
Untwist. And you have
extend the lines, make sure everything is okay. Okay, very good. Now, my dear Stelios, once again, we are going to go through the safety systems. Before we do, I would like you to once again try to total release. Very good. Put it back into working order again. Excellent. And now I would like you to do the same without being connected with a chicken loop. Just turn it so you can see how it releases. You see immediately half a turn. Now if you were connected and the kite was pulling, this would open, and you would stay connected with your safety leash here.
Okay.
Okay, now let's put it back into working order, Stelios.
What's this inside?
Excellent.
Up.
Just move left or right, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Perfect.
Ready.
Make sure always you check, and we are super good. So my dear Stelios, this is our safety systems pre-flight check, and also in the IKO we call it flight simulation. In other words, with the letting go of the bar